historical slander, ugly caricatures. For every Sambo, step and fetch it flick, we want to be paid. For every hurtful thing you did or said, for all the land you took, for all the rapes, all the Rosewoods and Black Wall Street you destroyed.
I gotta go now, I gotta go now, I gotta go now. I gotta get this poem in the hands of the artist formerly known as Prince now. Because when it comes to talent, ain't nobody's bigger. And maybe this poem could be the gun, and its voice could be the trigger.
My 7-year-old to the crack house with me on Thursday. Beautiful girl, prettiest little girl her mama done ever seen. Took her so she understand why I late sometimes with her breakfast, dinner, bedtime meetings, bedtime love. Wanted her to know how hard it is for me, you know, a single woman out here on her own, you know.
Have you been in jail poem? A lot of poems go to jail, like a lot of women who get tired of no good men. Do no good poems beat up on people?
Religion create division, make the Muslim hate the Christian, make the Christian hate the Jew, make up rules of faith that you condition to and gotta follow. God forbid you go to hell, but if you ever been to any ghetto, then you know well.
Ain't got nobody in all this world, ain't got nobody but myself. I was going to quit my frowning and put my troubles on the shelf.
Freedom looks like me committing structural crime, but framing you for it. It looks like newspapers, magazines committing character assassination on innocent victims because according to the New York Times, Mike Brown was no angel. Freedom feels like soft cotton on my skin from mediocre t-shirts plastered with questionable quotes, trying to profit off the appearance of being more actively anti-racist than they actually are. But hopefully the money goes to the right place. Racism isn't over, but I'm over racism, which can easily translate into, yes, racism is a thing, but I'm tired of talking about it. No matter how hard you try to ignore oppression, it doesn't ignore you. Freedom sounds like heavily edited media, sloppy journalism, cheap film editing, criminalizing and dehumanizing the victims into savages. Freedom tastes like unseasoned chicken, spicy water, privilege, and victory. It's the sweet taste of me killing a child and having the system protect me while I'm still getting paid. Freedom is the scent of youth decaying, a dead body left out for 4 hours so others will know better. The aroma of an open wound, a knife 9 inches deep in, only pulling it 3 inches out and calling it progress. Remember Tulsa, Oklahoma. Never forget what happened to the MOVE organization in West Philadelphia. Never forget history. The killing of innocent children, the attacks on peaceful protesters, the oppression of a district, media censorship, the denial of basic human rights. No, we are not talking about the Hunger Games. For many of us, the Hunger Games is more than a book. We have been starved of justice, social justice. If it's clear in fiction, why is it hard to see what's happening in Ferguson is wrong? You can comprehend the minority metaphor of the mutant X-Men, but can't commiserate the marginalizing of my melanin. You know you live in a dystopia when people can sympathize with fictitious oppression, shed tears for fictional characters, but not for the real people in front of them. I hear people ask, what if the purge was real, when cops are already out there committing one on black lives? Black men, black boys are used as target practice for their skin color. Operation Ghetto Storm confirms a black person in America is killed every 28 hours by police or vigilantes, meaning black women and non-gender binary black people are a part of that statistic. If you enjoy the realism of fiction, then recognize it in real life. You do not have to be black to be concerned, raise awareness, or stand in solidarity, but understand what this is about. Dear white people, this never happens to you. And when it does, at the speed of light, it's taken care of. Supremacy is simple and it is the norm. You have white privilege. You don't have problems for being white in this country. Dear non-black people of color, when black people are talking about their issues, we're not erasing you from the oppression of racism. We're simply talking about anti-blackness. Understand, when you make that about you, you derail the conversation, and that is anti-blackness in itself. We are not trampolines or measuring sticks for you to talk about your problems. That is not solidarity. After the revolution, freedom is no longer being baptized by white tears when discussing our problems. Freedom will be a sensation on my ears from not having to hear folks misquote Martin Luther King out of context as an attempt to tone police black people. Freedom is no longer having to hear pointless rhetoric kumbaya that derails the conversation. We're all equal, we're all human, we all bleed red. No, but we're not treated equal, we're dehumanized and our blood is on the concrete. Freedom is no longer watching the repugnant of my kinfolks identify as new blacks as they lie to themselves that they're post-racial, no longer engulfing the pungent as they shout black power but live for white approval, as they vomit respectability politics, purposely throwing their own people under the bus and unlonely their own children. Freedom is a vibrant sensation on my skin. knowing we no longer have to do this because it's properly taken care of and child killers aren't turned into celebrities. Freedom is when we can bask in the glow of being truly equal and our children and our youth are treated like the precious babies they are. After the revolution, our taste buds will savor the flavor of unearned privileges and opportunities being equally distributed. When we don't have to work twice as hard to be seen as 1/5 of you. Freedom will feel like the weight of institutional oppression lifted off our shoulders, overlooked oppression off our backs. Like balloons inflated with helium, we will elevate into the clouds, finally embraced by the blue.
Something you may never understand.
Heavy.